Welcome to this edition of SKNIS Week in Review, a program highlighting the top stories of the work of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for the past week. Here's a look at some of the highlights for the week of June 18th to 24th, 2021. Suspension of retail liquor licenses intended to discourage social gatherings. New Horizons continues to assist and support children and families. Stakeholders recognized for the contribution of care packages. And RSCNPF issues tickets to persons for breaching COVID-19 regulations. I am your presenter, Sherima Matthew. As the government of St. Kitts and Nevis continues to work to protect the general public from the spread of the second wave of COVID-19, bars and shops across the Federation have been suspended from selling liquor to discourage socializing in groups at hanging out spots. This was according to the Superintendent of Police, Cromwell Henry, during the National Emergency Operations Center COVID-19 daily briefing for June 21st, who noted that the decision to suspend retail liquor licenses was not an attack on small businesses.
The temporary suspension of retail licenses is not a ban on the consumption of alcohol, but rather a measure to prevent the type of gatherings and socialization that occur at bars, as such gatherings facilitate the spread of the virus. There is no such similar gatherings at supermarkets, as their sale of alcohol is wholesale and takeaway only. We again crave your understanding and cooperation by discontinuing your bar operation in the interest of public health.
He reiterated that suspending the sale of liquor for the bars and shops will be down to the benefit of everyone, as it would aid in encouraging persons to continue to practice social distancing. Superintendent of Police Cromwell Henry announced that the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force has issued 191 tickets to persons who have breached the COVID-19 regulations.
191 tickets have been issued over the period May 21st to June 20th for failing to wear masks in public and for hosting social events without permission. 119 of such tickets were issued in St. Kitts and 72 on Nevis. Further, 31 persons have been arrested for breaching the curfew, and so far 8 have been charged.
Superintendent Henry reminded citizens and residents that St. Kitts and Nevis is on partial lockdown with a nightly curfew from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. Only essential workers, persons with medical emergencies, or persons exempted by the Commissioner of Police are permitted to be on the road during the curfew hours. The ongoing vaccination program across the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis has been of great success thus far in the fight against the COVID-19 virus. On the June 21st NEOC COVID-19 press briefing, Medical Chief of Staff of the Joseph N. France General Hospital, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson, indicated that efforts to reach herd immunity through vaccination will continue as the Federation tackles a new wave of cases.
Herd immunity is not a panacea. Herd immunity is not an on and off switch. And there is not going to be a herd immunity day where we reach a certain threshold and we celebrate. Herd immunity is not something that is achieved and you celebrate with a victory lap, because we are going to have to continue to fight this virus until it is eliminated from the world.
Relatively, St. Kitts and Nevis has managed well to date, with the 4th lowest death rate and the highest overall vaccination rate of any CARICOM member state during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Dr. Wilkinson also stated that the mode of gaining herd immunity differs from country to country, and that it was the responsibility of health officials to tailor the approach which would best suit the Federation. As of June 24th, 2021, the Federation's vaccination program has been making steady progress, with 35,659 total doses administered, representing 68.3% of persons who would have had at least their first dose, 13,111 persons would have received their second dose, amounting to 39.7%. The Federal Ministry of Health is awaiting results from samples sent off to the Caribbean Public Health Agency (CARPHA) for genome sequencing to determine the strain of the present COVID-19 virus that is in St. Kitts and Nevis. However, as the ministry awaits that determination, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws said that the present COVID-19 virus in the country appears to be more transmissible and deadly than the first wave of the SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for the COVID-19 disease.
Coming out of the meeting that I chaired with the case managers last Friday morning, at the end of the meeting, we concurred two things. One, the strain of the virus that is in circulation now is more transmissible than the strain that we contained last year between March and June, July. So it's more transmissible and it is more deadly. Because when you look at the number of hospitalizations and how the cases present at the emergency room, we can safely say that this strain is more transmissible and more deadly, compared to the strain that was in circulation in the Federation last year.
Further, CMO Dr. Laws also encouraged persons who have tested positive for COVID-19 to continue to boost their immune system to make sure they consume healthy meals, maintain adequate hydration with water, and if possible, engage in some form of physical activity in an effort to facilitate a speedy recovery. Adele Williams, director at the New Horizons Juvenile Rehabilitation Center, said that the institution continues to work closely with several stakeholder agencies to provide assistance and support to children and families in the Federation, promote education and public safety, strengthen families, and positively change the lives of troubled youth. The assistance and support provided include but are not limited to education, health, safety and security, agriculture, sport, environmental practices, as well as welfare.
The Ministry of Education provides full-time teachers and also skilled workers from the National Skills Department. We also get engaged with sports as well and health for looking at what the children's needs are. We work in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. We have a local district doctor and district nurse as well within our area that we work very closely with, because the child has to be assessed in terms of what their health needs are as well when they come to the facility.
The New Horizons Juvenile Rehabilitation Center works hand in hand with the Department of Probation and Child Protection Services, a department built on ensuring that each child enjoys the right to live and grow as a child, protected from all forms of abuse and neglect, and provided with every opportunity to realize his or her fullest potential. The New Horizons Juvenile Rehabilitation Center in St. Kitts is often considered the last resort for children who run afoul of the law. As such, the primary care and transformation of the residents falls squarely on the center's staff working in collaboration with several stakeholders, including the Ministry of Social Development and Law Enforcement. Shanice Sam, a case worker at New Horizons, said that the interventions are developed based on professional assessment, shaped by interactions with parents and the juveniles. An essential component involves the juveniles identifying their choices and the resulting consequences.
We sit and we talk to the child to get their perspective, to make sure that they understand why they are with us, to make sure that they understand what the facility is. We explain the rules of the facility, what is going to happen while they're there, not only to the child but to the parents, so that everybody is clear.
Ms. Sam said that the responsibility of the parents or guardians in the rehabilitation process is also clearly articulated so that they remain engaged with their child and embrace their role. It is an essential ingredient in shaping the family involvement throughout the process. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Social Development, Janelle Lewis Tafari, extended heartfelt appreciation to individuals and organizations that stepped forward to support the government's care package initiative for families in quarantine and isolation. On the June 21st National Emergency Operations Center COVID-19 briefing, Mrs. Lewis Tafari said that as of Friday, June 18th, 195 households received assistance under the program. That equates to 686 individuals in total. Care packages include food supplies and toiletries. The Ministry of Health also supplies medication to persons in need. Psychosocial support is provided by government counselors.
The committee has been privileged to receive a number of contributions from various individuals and stakeholders. This includes food items and financial support, which helps to make continued outreach possible. We have had farmers who have provided provisions. We've had one church who has been providing meals on Tuesdays, and nationals abroad have also contributed to the cause.
The Permanent Secretary singled out radio personality E.K. Flanders for hosting a food supply drive last Saturday, June 19th, in support of the CARE initiative. She encouraged persons in need of assistance and individuals willing to contribute to telephone 662-5539, 662-7710, or 662-6473. After 4 p.m., persons can call 662-5993. Youth between the ages of 8 and 16 years in St. Kitts and Nevis can explore and develop their creative potential in July as the Department of Youth Empowerment hosts a virtual summer creative camp. The July 19th to 23rd, 2021 camp offers a fun and engaging experience in several areas including painting, jewelry making, t-shirt design, paper plate art, and concrete flower pot. Presentations on various life skills topics will also be featured. Director of Youth Empowerment, Pierre Liebert, said that the department was excited to present this year's activity as it affords the department's staff and the facilitators a new way to engage meaningfully and productively with young people during the summer holidays. He added that this was especially important given that health authorities have banned mass gatherings at this time as a result of the community spread of COVID-19. The sessions will be available via Microsoft MS Teams and Zoom. To participate, persons must register online or via the St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment Facebook page. The registration fee of $30 can be paid at the St. Kitts Department of Youth Empowerment, located on the top floor of the Cable Building, Keon Street. In Nevis, payments can be made at the Department of Youth, top floor of Reliable Motors, Charlestown. The registration deadline is July 9th, 2021. Thanks for viewing SKNIS Week in Review. I am Sharima Matthew. See you next week as we continue to update you, the general public, on what's happening in and around the Federation.